Of course, we are karma-bound souls. We have a causal body that is filled with karmas, action and consequences from the past. We are seeking to burn through those karmas that we can get back into a state of freedom. I've spoken to you about how we create those karmas through our every action. And the more we can see the anatomy of how the karmas are created in the karmic play, the more we can disentangle ourselves from those karmic patterns that are within our causal being. So it's important to be able to see through the play of karma. And as a true seeker, we'll need to continue to seek wisdom on the journey. Wisdom. That's why we pray with the Gayatri mantra, Dhiyo Yona Prachoraya. Dhiyo is the intellect. And we are asking that the intellect be held in the light. The more light there is there, the more discriminating power we have. And the more detachment we can have, the vivek and the vairagya in the play. But we need to see, we need that vivek, that discriminating power. We need wisdom in the play. So I'm going to start with the Bhagavad Gita today and what it says. Very interesting what it says. It tells us how we fall into this trap of the senses. You'll recall that Prajapati said to Indra, so long as the mind associates with the senses, it's going to be caught up with the senses. And such a one will never cease to have misery and pain in the play. When we are caught up in the senses, how does it show in the play? When the mind becomes caught in the senses, how does it show up in the play? And how are the karmas created? Bhagavad Gita tells us in chapter 2 that when we have contact with the senses and with sense objects, when the mind through the senses is in contact with the sense objects, it grows attachment. You'll agree with that. When we become caught up with the play of the senses, we grow attachment. And from that attachment grows desire. When we create that attachment to the senses and the sense objects in the play, desire comes up. And from desires, unfulfilled, anger arises. So desire on one hand is rag. And when anger and aversion comes, that's dvesh. Like and dislike. So it shows up very clearly when we become attached in the play to sense objects and our desires are unfulfilled, because being unfulfilled is natural to the play. Aversion, dislike comes up. So we are caught in rag and dvesh, likes and dislikes. So Bhagavad Gita says that in that anger, we have confusion of memory. The mind becomes confused in their anger. Notice when people become angry, they forget things. They say things that they don't even mean to say. So it says that anger creates this delusion. And this delusion creates this confusion of memory. And confusion of memory compromises the intellect. Discrimination becomes compromised. We become blind. Reason becomes blind. And it says, such a one who is so compromised perishes in the play. Gets ruined in the play. So can you see the anatomy of that situation, that process? From attachment, from contact comes attachment. From attachment comes desire. From desire, unfulfilled, comes anger. From anger, delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. Memory becomes clouded. From loss of memory, intellect becomes dulled and blinded. And we are hopelessly caught in likes and dislikes. So do you see those symptoms of likes and dislikes in the play? And you know, when you strongly dislike something and you strongly like something, then you're really storing the karmas. You're really filling the causal body now with more and more karmas that bind. All those patterns of likes and dislikes are kept in the causal. And whenever they come back again, they lead to the same delusion, confusion, and blindness. Do you recognize this in the play? And it happens in gross ways, and it happens in subtle ways. So, for example, you show very clearly your likes and dislikes in your body gestures. And then when you get caught in this like and dislike, the mind can build stories. From a little incident, you can create a whole story. So in the mental world, you create a whole new story to an existing situation, which may or may not even be true. And you live in a virtual reality with these stories that you've created, and they determine your reality. You magnify your fears, they become bigger, and your fantasies. And that becomes your world, the subtle world of likes and dislikes. And so the karmas that are stored become stronger, the patterns become stronger, and soon enough you have monsters in the inner space that you are faced with. All those stories you have created on the inside, all those patterns that become stronger in the inside, and then you're hopeless in the space. Mind is restless, pranas are restless, intellect is deluded, blind. What hope is there for us as a seeker? But to start the process of observing, seeing clearly, managing that likes and dislikes, and bringing back the intellect to its position of light. reason needs to come back to its power, its true power, its authentic power. So Bhagavad Gita says, such a one who begins to control of likes and dislikes, begins to observe it and control it, such a one will find peace of mind. So we need some discipline in the senses. Seeing the likes and dislikes, beginning the control of the likes and dislikes is really holding the horses in check. And then will slowly come the tranquility of the mind, it says. It can only happen when we begin to observe the likes and dislikes and begin to become disciplined enough, wise enough to move away from likes and dislikes. So we see them very clearly in the mental patterns and the physical behavior. We see it very clearly, what we like and what we don't like, and how the ego becomes very strong in its likes and dislikes, even so at the subtle level. All the attachments and aversions that we have in the inner space. It says, only such a one who is able to come to a state of tranquility in the mind will begin to gain the intellectual power to detach from the things around and get into a deeper relationship with self.